Hey guys, how's it going? George Elias here, George Elias Presents, and I got the man right here, the man behind Graveyard Cinemas, Mr. Nick Grant. How are you, first of all?
Good, I'm great.
If you haven't checked him out, you need to check him out. What are you waiting for? Honestly, legit. So, anyway, I've been wanting to talk with this guy for a little bit. We want to talk to you for a little bit, and I was like, what do we have in common, other than our love for film and our weirdness? What is it that we have in common? I was like, John Carpenter. We both love Carpenter, but for different reasons.
Yes.
You know, you as a director, me as a writer. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, we both write and direct as well, but we have our own loves and hates and whatnot. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask this man right here 3 questions. And be as brutally honest as you want. You can say whatever the hell you want, even profanity, fuck it. Say whatever you want. So here we go. Okay, so now the first question I got for you, Mr. Grant, is how has John Carpenter inspired you as a director?
As a director, he inspired me mainly through him writing and directing, especially during his indie movies like Halloween. When I saw that movie, I couldn't believe that dude made that money on so little, and it became such a phenomenon in the horror film community, as well as another movie that I'm a very big fan of is The Fog.
Oh, that's a great one, The Fog. Well, which one?
The original Fog.
Okay.
The very first one that he made.
Oh, okay. Not the remake.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it is personally one of the best ghost stories ever told.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It was just dripping in atmosphere, super, super creepy. One of those movies, as a young kid, I definitely couldn't keep... had to keep lights on in my room for that one.
That's
because of how creepy it was.
Oh, no, yeah. And then when I said Halloween, oh, yeah, that's the one that started it all.
Absolutely.
You know? Is it the first slasher? That's debatable, but because there's also Black Christmas, things like that. But it definitely is the one that put slasher in the mainstream. That's the one that really, it gave it that term, slasher.
You could also say that it was because of Michael Myers that we got Leatherface, we got Jason, we got Krueger. It's debatable. But you could say that he was the one who definitely made it popular.
Well, Leatherface came first, but you're right. Michael Myers is the whole mask and the thing. Yeah, but yeah, there's no arguing when it comes to Jason and Freddy and all those. No, yeah, that's definitely not arguing. Yeah, great film. What do you think of the remake? I mean, not the remake, but the newest one.
The newest Fog?
No, the newest Halloween. The
new one.
The one that they retconned everything.
I absolutely enjoyed it. A good friend of mine took me to go see it on my birthday, and
there's a gift for you.
Horror
movies can keep us together.
Yes. And I fell in love with it. Every minute of it, I just absolutely loved it. And of course, seeing Jamie Lee Curtis come back as Laurie Strode was just phenomenal.
Jamie Lee, Scream Queen, forever.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. There will only be one Laurie Strode, and that's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you. See, he gets it. Thank you. All right, Mr. Grant. Now, my second question for you is, this is a tough one. What is your favorite Carpenter film and why?
Okay, favorite one. There's no contest. It's The Thing. It's definitely
The Thing.
Definitely The Thing.
Why? Why that one specifically?
I've always been into alien movies, but to see one movie that is like part slasher, part creature feature was insane. And I saw that movie at a very young age. Around that time, I was about 8 years old when I saw it for the first time.
Same here, actually. I was around the same age, yeah.
And at that time, I was watching movies like Silence of the Lambs and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
We turned out okay. See, it's not that bad. I mean, well, considering, but you know.
Honestly, with me, it's debatable.
But yeah, it is. So thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. It was about 2:00 in the morning, and I just saw this movie, and I just saw The Thing, and I was like, "This is by John Carpenter." It's like, "Oh, he did The Fog," so it's like, "Okay, let me check this out." Sold instantly, and I was like, "Well, what is this about?" And I just read the synopsis: a group goes to Antarctica and encounters this alien that can morph into any shape it chooses, and I'm like, that sounds really, really, really good.
No, it's a great movie. It is.
And what instantly got me was that first scene minor spoilers. Is that good?
Sure, go ahead. If you haven't seen it, what the hell are you waiting for?
Definitely minor spoilers. It was the scene.
Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Definitely, it was the scene with the dog.
When
that dog morphs into the alien, and it was gruesome. It was strange. But it sold me. I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like that. And I thought when it came to alien movies, Ridley Scott's Alien, I thought personally, like, you can't top it. And then here comes John Carpenter with this one. And it was like, I want to do stuff like this. I want to make movies like this. And as super gory and super interesting. And most of my friends when I was growing up, when I was watching movies like this, they couldn't see stuff like this. Because a lot of gore and a lot of guts.
You got cut out and censored and all that. Yeah.
Not only that, but with my friends, they got grossed out.
What?
Really, really easily. Yeah. A lot of my friends really didn't like a lot of that stuff. So I kind of was the oddball out a lot growing up. So.
And now we're here, see?
Yeah,
look,
and now we're
oddballs,
here.
But now we're doing this. Can you see how that works?
Yeah, definitely. But when it comes to my favorite John Carpenter movie, it's definitely The Thing.
Great film. All right, now time for the third and final question I have for you, young man. What movie would you recommend to introduce people to John Carpenter, and why? Now remember, the guy has done both horror as well as like effed up action, but it's awesome. So which one would you say like is the one that you're like, this is the one to introduce people?
The one to introduce to people, that definitely is a bit of a conundrum.
I'll tell you what. How's about I simplify it for you? For people that like horror, what would be your introduction?
The Fog.
The Fog.
When it comes to horror, I would definitely say The Fog, because while it is a very simple ghost story, there's also a lot of meaning to it and a lot of character to it, and it eases you in. It's not super violent. I mean, there are some grisly moments in it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is pretty good. For those of you who want something more of one that makes you think, one that really gets your brain going, and the ones who like the horror films that get their brains going, I would recommend John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness.
Oh,
which is a very complex, very intriguing horror film. Got a lot of flack when it first came out, but when I first saw it, it instantly hooked me in.
Well, don't a lot of his films kind of get a lot of flack though? Because he kind of takes what you're used to as far as horror or sci-fi or action and kind of turns it in a complete different direction.
Well, the thing when it comes to most horror movies back then, when he was still doing his work, a lot of stuff that is considered masterworks today weren't really considered masterworks when they first came out, and it was because of a lot of violence and teen drinking and teen sex. Those films really like to push those envelopes of it because it all comes to the reality of the human mind, and that's ultimately what all horror is. The fear of the unknown and the fear and subconscious of the human mind.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
It's in there that we get some of the most terrifying things that we've ever thought of. But back then, stuff like that never really registered with critics, especially ones like Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. No disrespect to them. Rest in peace, both of you. They were great critics.
They were awesome.
No disrespect to either one of them. But definitely when it came to that one, and you'd actually be very surprised, like the movie I mentioned before, John Carpenter's The Thing, Roger Ebert railroaded that movie to no end because of how much violence it was. And John Carpenter even at one point thought that it was his worst work. He once thought he felt so bad because he honestly thought The Thing was his worst work. Until years later, there's more of an appreciation to it. There's more consideration into it that horror can also be seen. Yes. It can be seen as an art form, and it is an art form. All horror really is an art form.
Oh, yeah.
And really when it does come to that, it's not just meant to scare. Horror also is used to learn.
It's supposed to make you think. Yeah, it's supposed to. Yeah, exactly.
To teach.
Yeah, like Halloween. It teaches you that sometimes your most comfortable surroundings, your neighborhood, where everybody knows one another. There could be somebody lurking around there. You know what I mean? The Thing is that fear of the unknown, of like something coming from another planet that we can't identify. You know what I mean? The fog, what's out there, what's beyond where our eyes can see. You know what I mean? And those kind of, so yeah, I completely understand.
And it also comes to the fear by what you don't see and what you don't know.
See, he knows. I don't need to tell him nothing.
Yes, but definitely.
What about in the action genre? Because yes, John Carpenter did do some action films.
Yes, he did. Escape from New York. Definitely, I would recommend that one as a good one. If you want to be introduced to him in the action genre, I definitely would be recommending that one. And
Big Trouble in Little China.
Absolutely.
That thing is just
that too.
That title alone sounds crazy, but literally watch it. You know, you and me have seen it, but it's like, watch that thing. There's no way to describe it. Just watch it. It is out there. And for any Mortal Kombat fans out there, you'll see where they got the idea for Raiden. You'll get it. You'll see what I mean. But no, that was a good one. You said Escape from New York. He also did Escape from LA, correct?
Yes, he did, which was the sequel.
Yeah.
And if I want to recommend one where it was like action and horror kind of mixed together, if you've ever seen this movie, Ghost of Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Is also a good one.
Is that the one with Ice Cube?
Yes, that is the one with Ice Cube. It might be a little goofy, but it still comes from a...
We gotta realize it came out around the early 2000s, didn't it?
Yes.
So it was around that time when they were doing that. A lot of explosions, the whodunit thing, and
and a lot of stuff in space. I mean, it was around the time we got Ghost of Mars, and Jason X, I think, came around that time too.
Why is that even a thing? I still don't get it. But okay, why? Why is this a thing? But
they didn't even put Kruger in space.
They put the Leprechaun though.
No, but they did put the Leprechaun.
And Hellraiser. And the list keeps going. You know, and going back to what we were saying, like, you know, about how, you know, those titles, how you remember when you said you were a kid, you saw The Fog, right? Mm-hmm. They caught your eye. Isn't that interesting how back in the day movies you knew they were just so well made. They could have the most generic title and they were good. The Fog, The Thing, Psycho, Rope. They had like the most plain,
bare bones, basic titles, and they had amazing concepts.
The Shining. But yeah, for some reason you're like, I'm gonna watch this. You know what I mean?
Because that's what most people don't really understand is that some of the best horror films, and sometimes, and for you film buffs out there too, the best films ever come from the most simple plot lines. You don't need to overcomplicate them.
It's not, yeah.
You can come up with something so simple and get the biggest reaction from your audiences.
Yeah. I want to give two shout-out things of John Carpenter that a lot of people seem to overlook. Christine, he directed that. The killer car. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I tell people about that film, like, that doesn't exist. Yes, it does. He directed that one. And he wrote a film that I absolutely loved when I was a kid that I stumbled across the way you did with The Fog. I stumbled across as a kid. I believe I was 11 years old. It's called Through the Eyes of Laura Mars.
Yes.
And that thing, he wrote that one, and that is extremely forgotten by a lot of people. And I always tell people, if you're able to find it, watch it. It's worth it. It stars Tommy Lee Jones and I believe Faye Dunaway. It's a very good film. And another one, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. They Live.
Yes.
Hey, it's Roddy Piper. Come on, dude.
That is a classic.
Yeah, it's a great film. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love that? So, anyway, Mr. Grant, I appreciate you, man. We could keep going, and this thing would be like 27 hours long.
Yes.
But I know he's a busy man, so I'm going to let him do his thing. But before we go, is there anything you want to say to them? Where can they find you? Where can they see your stuff?
You can go to my channel, Graveyard Cinemas. If you get lost, my logo is a large red skull. Not hard to miss at all. You can check out all of my work, or you can follow me on Instagram, Nick G the Geek, because I am a geek.
Hey, Geeks Unite, damn it.
Yes, Geeks Unite.
Here's the case. Well, that's good, man. That's good. So yeah, check out his work. I highly recommend it. The man is a genius. If you haven't heard about him, shame on you. Or better yet, if you haven't heard about him, you have now. There you go. So, any projects in the works that you can hint about, or are you keeping it under wraps?
One I do have to keep under wraps a little bit, but there is one that I am doing right now with the amazing Melissa Brown.
She's awesome.
Called
Check out her
Coven.
music.
The trailer will be dropping very, very soon.
Ooh.
So look out for that.
Ooh, we can't wait for that one. So yeah, that one, the Coven.
Coven.
The Coven. Check that out. Definitely. Bliss BK. Much love to her, and I know her as well. Great, very talented actress as well as musician. Oh, definitely, man. Well, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Mr. Nick Grant of Graveyard Cinemas and George Elias of George Elias Presents. So we'll see you guys at the movies.